Welcome into Jags AM. I'm Kainani Stevens. Brian Sexton and John Ogier are with me today as we recap Week 1. Heartbreaking loss for the Jaguars in Miami as they lose on a game-winning field goal by the Dolphins as time expired. But should it have ever gotten to that point? We're going to start out with big thing number 1, that meltdown in Miami. Things were all going the Jaguars' way in the first half, then a fumble in the second half, and the momentum completely shifted.
Just flush this one, you know. I mean, whether you win or lose, you want to go look at the film and you want to be pissed off. And I feel like each and every week we got to have the mindset to get 1-0. And I feel like we just have to just flush it, you know, be critical of what happened on film. And next week, attack with a different mindset. You know, it's a whole new week. NFL is it's just 1 week at a time. You know, we can't let this carry on the next week because it's not going to let us be our best self. And we have to flush this and have to get better and be better for my teammates.
Brian, so much about that loss yesterday was frustrating to watch from a fan's perspective, I'm sure for the players as well. But last year, their problem was letting this carry over week after week after week. How do they not do that this time?
Well, listen, I heard things from Travis there, from Trevor. It's what I harped on all offseason. They were 1-4 in the big games last year, and I thought yesterday was a big game. They've got to get over this hump, and I don't know whether it's beating Cleveland or beating Buffalo. They've got to win one of these games at the end where it's close, because right now it doesn't appear that is in their makeup. Trevor Lawrence talked about it in the postgame yesterday, what his expectations are. Listen, you had the fumble and then the explosive play. Don't forget, Parker Washington fumbled on the kickoff after Tyreek Hill's touchdown. And if it wasn't for incredible effort to get underneath there and get it back, I mean, it could have been even worse. So it's a great reminder that in this league, it is one game at a time, one play at a time, because everything can change as it did when that fumble got punched out.
Yeah, look, there's plenty to take away from this game positive. The offensive line played better. The defense, I thought, played really well. There were moments. The problem is, in the last 5, 6, 7 games dating back to last season, it's a team that gets close and doesn't win. In the NFL, who cares about the moments? Who cares about the improvement? You got to win. So I'm with Brian and with everybody. This is a big week to show that this isn't who you are. The theme in the postgame yesterday was, hey, it's only one game. It's 1-17. Well, you can't have it be 2-17 and then 3-17. You got to fix this. You got to get it right. Cleveland's a tough spot, but that's the task this week. The veterans have to step up.
Big thing number 2 for us going to be offensive. The offense was clicking all cylinders seemingly in the first half, but it was the tale of two halves. In the second half, it seemed to be a huge issue for the offense, so they couldn't get anything going.
No, it was trying to stay on the field. And, you know, it really just wanted to stay on the field, execute the play, stay on the field, 1st and 10. They stopped us, made a play, and then, you know, it turned into a good situation because, you know, they ended up missing the field goal there. So, but no, just wanted to stay on the field.
John, you were in the locker room post-game. A lot of those players said they didn't feel like the Dolphins did anything different. It felt like they beat themselves. The Jaguars felt like they beat themselves. What happened in the second half with the offense?
Well, this is one of those games where there's going to be a disconnect between how the coaches see it and how the fans and the media see it. Meaning, when the coaches look at this, they're going to say, look, the running game was working. We were close on the running game. We stuck with the running game. And then we just couldn't convert third downs, and that's all right. The Jaguars only got 50 plays. When you only get 50 plays, it's hard to get a lot going offensively. It's hard to throw and run as much as you want. There's going to be a lot of complaints and angst about Trevor only throwing 2 times in the fourth quarter. They didn't have the ball that much. They kept going 3 and out. When you don't convert third down, Brian, it makes the whole offense look clunky because it is. I think they're going to think they were close. I think they're going to like the good things, but you got to convert third down.
Listen, you score that one touchdown, and then all of this is, well, we can clean this up. However, in the fourth quarter, they had 12 yards, right? And then when they got the ball back with the game tied at 17 with 4:22 to play at their own 30-yard line, an opportunity. Take the 4-minute offense, go down the field, right? No gain on the running play, sack, loss of 10 yards. I mean, that's the part that you just chew on mentally. How, with everything on the line, right where you want to be, it's a one-score game, right? It's a one-score league. Most of the games are decided in the fourth quarter by less than 8 points. You're right where you need to be, and you can't get a first down. You can't move the ball at all. That's the part where I'm scratching my head this morning saying, how is this team unable to do anything, especially giving up back-to-back sacks? That's the part that, for this week, I'm going to be asking that question.
Our final big thing is going to be empty tank. The defense was out there a lot, as Doug Peterson alluded to in the second half. The offense couldn't stay on the field, so the defense was out there quite some amount of time. If before the game you told me they were going to hold them to 2 touchdowns, I would have said that'll give them a good shot. John, it was frustrating at times to watch, but the defense was great out there for most of the game. It was just at the end when they've been out there so long.
Yeah, it kind of goes back to the 50 plays offensively. When you don't have that many plays offensively, the defense is on the field a lot more. I'm kind of with Brian on this one too. After the fumble, it took on sort of this air of inevitability about what was going to happen to me. I think it was because you felt like the defense had done what it could. It had given a yeoman's effort, the whole thing. And then once Tyreek hit the big play, you just kind of felt like the offense wasn't going to get going. And then there wasn't quite enough left to stop the field goal drives. It's such a game of circumstance. Had the fumble not happened, you're playing downhill the rest of the way defensively. It felt like they were on even footing the rest of the way, and the Dolphins were able to wear them down.
Listen, you hold the Dolphins to 17 points until the final play of the game. I mean, that's a win. This is the #1 offense in football last year, #2 in scoring. And you saw how Mike McDaniel did it on that final drive where they needed 31 yards to set up the game-winning field goal. He was swinging it out side to side and forcing the Jaguars defense, which had been on the field for most of the game, to run and chase Ichan and a lot of those guys that are so difficult to catch in the first quarter. The Jaguars defense with 2:10 left to play gave up those 31 yards. They just couldn't hold off the Dolphins anymore. But other than that little stretch there, man, I really was excited about what I saw, and I'm sure Ryan Nielsen is too.
Stay with us here on Jags AM. Coming back, we're going to look at the tape from yesterday's game in Miami.
We need to define a great deal in today's new home market, because the so-called great deals that you find on every corner just aren't the same as the incredible opportunities you'll find with a new Dreamfinder's home. How about 2.99% in year one in one of Dreamfinder's 15 communities across North Florida? Now that's a great deal. 2.99% interest rate in year one and a beautiful new Dreamfinder's home. Visit dfhsalesevent.com for our largest savings of the year on move-in ready homes. That's dfhsalesevent.com.
Chelsea here. Tired of those drafty windows and high energy bills? It's time to upgrade with Renewal by Andersen. Right now, during our exclusive sale, you can save big on custom-built, energy-efficient windows and doors designed to keep your home comfortable and secure all year round. Our Fibrex material is 2 times stronger than vinyl, providing superior durability and impact resistance. Plus, with flexible financing options available, there's never been a better time to make a switch. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation today. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Restrictions apply. License number CGC 1527613.
It's game time, Jaguars fans, and Publix knows that football is all about pairings. A high-scoring offense paired with a stingy defense. A rocket-armed QB paired with a dynamic wide receiver. And at Publix, you can pair hot deli chicken tenders with savory dips, delicious sub-platters with ice-cold beverages, and you can pair these tailgate essentials with an entire parking lot full of Jaguars fans chanting, Duval! Gear up for your tailgate at Publix, the official supermarket of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Are you ready for a taste bud touchdown? Well, Jags fans, if you're at the bank and craving a snack that's shell-shockingly good, look no further than Luray Peanut Company's boiled peanuts. Picture this, you in the stands, cheering on your Jaguars, and in one hand, a bag of piping hot boiled peanuts. With original or Cajun to choose from, they're so delicious, you'll wonder where they've been all your life. So grab them while they're hot and get back to the game. And as always, Duval! Luray boiled peanuts, where every nut is a winner.
Attention Northeast Florida businesses. The Jaguars and Corporate Traveler are teaming up to bring you the Rising Business Spotlight Program. Get your business in front of 65,000 passionate fans at each Jaguars home game. It's your chance to shine with prime in-stadium exposure, an interactive activation space, and a powerful social media spotlight. Be one of the 6 selected small to medium-sized businesses to be showcased this season. Connect with new audiences like never before. Visit corporatetraveler.us/Jaguars. Don't miss out on this game-changing opportunity with the Jacksonville Jaguars and Corporate Traveler.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium, because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Over 70 years of authentic Southern Pit Barbecue. We are the local barbecue joint in BBQval for generations of people in Jacksonville. Go to bonosbarbecue.com to learn more or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Navigating the current housing market and figuring out your best move when it comes to a mortgage isn't your full-time job, but it's one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make. That's where the experts at Jet Home Loans get into the game and coach you to your ultimate goal of getting not just the right loan, but the perfect loan for you, the home of your dreams. Jet Home Loans works with you all the way, from application to closing, making sure your game plan is perfect. Make the call to Jet Home Loans and let their team join your team to make your dreams take flight. Visit jethl.com.
It's game time, Jaguars fans, and Publix knows that football is all about pairings. A high-scoring offense paired with a stingy defense. A rocket-armed QB paired with a dynamic wide receiver. And at Publix, you can pair hot deli chicken tenders with savory dips, delicious sub platters with ice-cold beverages, and you can pair these tailgate essentials with an entire parking lot full of Jaguars fans chanting, Duval! Gear up for your tailgate at Publix, the official supermarket of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The 2024 season is Pawsome. Register your pet for the Four-Legged Fan Club, presented by Forever Vets Animal Hospital. Your furry friend can access exclusive merchandise, events, and sweepstakes throughout the season. Fan club members will be automatically entered to win the Pet of the Game sweepstakes, with 2 Jags tickets and sideline passes for pet owners, and the chance for your pet to be featured on the video boards as Pet of the Game. Visit jaguars.com/promotions/Four-Legged Fan Club to sign up. Calling all junior fire chiefs. Parents, register for your child to win the ultimate Jaguars game day experience. Sponsored by Firehouse Subs, cheering on the Jags from the Firehouse Subs fire truck at Everbank Stadium, flashing the fire truck lights when the Jags score. As honorary junior fire chief of the game, your child will receive a Firehouse Subs gift, and the whole family will receive 4 tickets and a parking pass to a home game this season. Visit jaguars.com/sweepstakes to enter to win today. See website for terms and conditions. Attention Northeast Florida businesses. The Jaguars and Corporate Traveler are teaming up to bring you the Rising Business Spotlight Program. Get your business in front of 65,000 passionate fans at each Jaguars home game. It's your chance to shine with prime in-stadium exposure, an interactive activation space, and a powerful social media spotlight. Be one of the 6 selected small to medium-sized businesses to be showcased this season. Connect with new audiences like never before. Visit corporatetraveler.us/Jaguars. Don't miss out on this game-changing opportunity with the Jacksonville Jaguars and Corporate Traveler.
Listen up. Just like football, timing is everything. Only water your lawn when necessary. And always check the weather before turning on those sprinklers.
Save water, save money, and score big. It's a win-win.
Whether you're on the field or at home, we're all on the same team. Florida's water. It's worth saving. This message brought to you by the St. Johns River Water Management District. Visit sjrwmd.com for more information.
Move the freight. Move the freight. Magellan Transport voted the coolest office space in Jacksonville. You can apply online at www.magellanlogistics.com. Also, register your furry friend for the Jaguars official Four-Legged Fan Club for Pets, presented by Forever Vets Animal Hospital. Your pet will receive access to exclusive merchandise, events, and sweepstakes throughout the 2024 season. Visit jaguars.com/promotion/Four-Legged Fan Club to sign up today. Welcome back into Jags AM. We did a little venue change for you guys today as we take things over to the podcast studio. It's really, I mean, I'm not going to call out John, but John did want to come sit down in his favorite chair. So,
well, we did what the Jaguars have to do this week. We responded to adversity. Something changed. We moved on. So this is the tone setter for the week.
Right. The way we go through the rest of the week, we'll set the tone for sure.
It sets the tone. Doug needs to mention this in the meeting.
Let's stay the course and provide a good example. So let's go over some of the highlights from yesterday first, because the first half there were a lot of highlights that we saw, and we saw a lot of good play from the defense early on as well. But one of the things that impressed me the most was Brian Thomas Jr. We've been talking about him, what we expected from him. John, you've been talking about how you actually have some expectations for a rookie for once, but he more than exceeded what I was expecting to see from him right out of the gate. Getting this pass interference call against Jalen Ramsey and then chirping at him after shows me a little something about what we're going to see from him going forward.
Well, I think he knows he belongs, and you don't really see this from Thomas Jr. When he speaks to the media. You don't really see it around the building. But when it came time to compete, when the lights came on, I don't get the feeling that he was necessarily looking for that. I think Jalen was probably talking earlier. Would be my guess. And BTJ made a play. But Brian, I think what impressed me most about Brian Thomas Jr. was, nothing looked overly difficult, and it didn't look like he was playing above himself. He just looked like he was playing, and it looked like there's going to be things that come easy to him that don't come easy to most NFL receivers.
He totally belongs. I mean, his game translated from LSU to the pros immediately, like so many of the LSU receivers have over time. The thing I loved most about this play is that Ramsey had to tackle him, right? I mean, Ramsey knew.
And he still almost caught it.
Beat. I get he had the hamstring. But Thomas is the exact opposite of Ramsey. If Ramsey had been a good guy in the locker room and a jerk on the field, everybody would have loved him. But he was a jerk on both. Thomas is a guy who is absolutely a great guy in the locker room, and I love that he turned and chirped right at Ramsey. And, he beat him on the other touchdown, too. I mean, it's just, what a great day for Brian Thomas Jr. I wish he could celebrate it more, but coming in here today, he's not going to be able to.
Yeah, and think about this with him. This is the first game, and he was huge on all 3 touchdown drives. He had, on the field goal drive, I think he had a catch early. If you know anything about wide receiver play in the NFL, first game, you're operating at about a 10% capacity of what you can be. This kid has a chance to be a star and to be, go overboard, one of the best receivers this franchise has ever seen, if yesterday is any indication.
Well, it was Fred Taylor in our radio postgame yesterday that made the comparison to Jimmy Smith.
Yeah.
Now, he didn't compare him directly. What he said was, I don't know that I've seen a receiver as big and talented as fast in Jacksonville since the guy who wore 82.
Yeah.
Let him grow into that. But I'll say this. There are a lot of people who are concerned that Evan Ingram only got 1 catch yesterday for 5 yards. Hold tight. That's not going to hold because defenses are going to have to adjust to the size and speed of Brian Thomas Jr., and everything's going to get easier for those other guys.
It's taking advantage of when you do get the ball, though. We'll touch on that a little bit later on. But that PI call set up this touchdown from ETN. The running game was looking good early. Tank specifically as well. From what we saw, he was just running right through the center. They were setting up holes for him, and he was going for it. And then they got away from it later. But John, were you impressed with what the running game did early?
Yeah, it was, and I think they stuck with it. And again, a lot of my complaints in the inbox were about that they got away from Trevor in the fourth quarter. I didn't feel that. The stats showed that more than I felt it.
Yeah.
But the reason for that is they had success. They were 4.9 a carry. That carried over to the second half where they said, we're having success with this. We can't get away from it. And then it sort of bit them a couple of times late. And when you know that success, when you're sticking with it and you don't get it, then all of a sudden you're off the field fast, right? So it's I get why the coaches stayed with the run.
I do too.
And I think over the course of time, sticking with it will have benefits. It didn't benefit him in the fourth quarter on Sunday.
Doug said last week, the best defense against Miami's offense is the Jaguars' offense staying on the field. And they knew they were a more physical front than Miami, and they pushed them around up front. And when you had a lead and you didn't have to play from behind and you didn't have to throw the ball over the field on a hot day, man, lean on those guys and get it done. I didn't have a problem with the play calling, and I'll touch on that when we get into our hot takes. But they just weren't as good in the second half at running the ball. Miami made plays.
All right. Let's look at that second touchdown drive from the Jaguars. Big catch by Christian Kirk to set things up, and then Brian Thomas Jr. as well. Kirk had a rough day, but he did have a great catch here over the middle that kind of set things up, and this is what you want to see when you can establish the run, open things up, and whether it's him or Gabe Davis had a couple big plays over the middle as well. That's the offense we want to see from them, being a little bit more dynamic. Brian, how do they continue to tap into this as the season goes forward?
Listen, you keep the running game going, and that means, by the way, consistent into the second half. be successful running the ball and bringing those safeties up, I think Tank Bigsby is a great 1-2 punch. And I have that physicality at the line of scrimmage, bring the safeties up. With what you've got with Kirk and Ingram and Brian Thomas Jr., this will come. You've got to be able to be efficient and effective in the running game when you want to run. If they are, this play action will work, and it will work wonderfully.
Yeah, that's what I said at the top of the show. It's a tough game to analyze because you saw things like that you liked. You know, I feel better about the running game yesterday than I think I did at any point last season.
I'm with you there.
I don't remember every game, but they felt like they were getting things they wanted to do. Tank was running with power. You sort of know that. The only concern I have is Travis Etienne is such a burst runner that if he's not getting as many carries as he did, does he have as many chances at bursts? But I think that'll work itself out. You feel good about that. You feel good about the weapons. If they'd gotten the win, you'd be doing cartwheels because you said all these things that you like. They just have to get a win to sort of stay afloat and wait for these things to sort of develop around them because you feel like it's there, but you can't.
What you're saying,
keep losing. It's one game, but you can't keep losing and keep saying it's there.
But what you're saying is the age-old truism in the NFL, and that is it's never as bad as you think it is.
Right.
It feels bad because the fumble and the explosive play and that first down series that didn't go anywhere. But when you go back and look at it, you win on Sunday against Cleveland, you're feeling pretty good about some of the things that you've seen in the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And being 1-1. Because remember, in September with the schedule with 3 or 4 on the road, you come out 2-2, you're in a good spot.
We should say on the back end of that drive with the touchdown with Brian Thomas Jr., I do want to say that throw from Trevor was excellent. Brian Thomas Jr. to have the body awareness to go up and get it. First of all, when Trevor let go of the football, he wasn't even in the end zone yet. Gets all the way in the back of the end zone, gets it, and the toe tap it in. I'm just excited to see their growth together going forward because they're already in sync, which we've seen sometimes takes Trevor a longer time to get on sync with newer receivers, and he's already there seemingly with Brian Thomas Jr. Also want to give a shout out to another rookie, Cam Little, coming on. How about your first kick? 53 yards. Not bad.
That was the longest kick in Jaguars history, right? The 53-yard field goal until year 20, until 2010, so like 15 maybe, until Josh Scobie kicked the 59-yarder. 53 was the standard, and he steps up and meets the standard with his first NFL kick.
And the leg on it could have been farther.
Yeah, and I was watching that, and I'm not going to say I was scared for the kid, but you're thinking, okay, he's had this great preseason and training camp. The sort of lingering question was, well, can he do it in the games? And you pull for the kid because he's a Jaguar player. Seems like a likable kid, and you're just like, okay, can he do it now? And then when he did it, you're like, well, of course he did. He's been doing it the whole time. He doesn't seem to get affected by stuff. And he nailed it. He looks like a really good long-term solution at that spot.
And by the way, what did they get the ball with? 144 to begin that drive? And it's an answer to the Dolphins, and it pushed the lead. You want to be excited about something? That was a really important, effective drive for the offense. Don't forget that they ended the first half with that statement field goal and that drive, and that wasn't something they did last year.
Well, and think about...
Or they were able to do, because they would go for it on fourth down sometimes. They didn't trust kicks that long.
Right. Sort of playing to your point, really impressive, 96-yard drive in the first half or 94, and then they get the stop, or... they got the stop. The Dolphins got to the 26. Trayvon got the sack in the second half. They get the stop, and then they go down and go 96 yards in about 3 seconds before the fumble. They did some really impressive things, and yet this league is so difficult because you do impressive things, and then one play changes it. And to me, unfortunately for Travis, yesterday really was just about one play to me.
Well, and listen, if you go and look at the numbers, a red zone trip with a turnover and no points, you lose 96% of the time when you have one of those in the National Football League.
Let's take a look at the play. Fumble by Etienne basically as he's going into the end zone, and then that other touchdown going the other way. John, can you remember a swing that quick? It was seconds, it felt like.
Well, I can't mainly because of what I just said a second ago. It might take me a second to get to this point. They had done so much so well. the big stop at the big moment with the Trayvon sack was a big play because the Dolphins had been at the 26. I mean, they were getting points.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you sap Miami's momentum and you don't get points. And then they have a great punt, and then you have a great drive, like a big-time drive, and you feel that, like, for 10 minutes, you feel like they are taking control of this game. They are going to hang in an impressive tone-setting victory. He's going in with a great blocked run, a good run, and then in a second and a half, the guy Kai was sitting next to me, and I know she heard me. I said, "Are you kidding me?" Not at Travis fumbling, like at happened. Travis, but just, oh goodness. And then this, and you're like,
of course, like
in 30 years, I'm sure I've seen something like it, but it was striking what momentum changed.
It was. Listen, and we had Fred on radio, and he talked about this. Look, when you're in the tight red zone like they were, you got to know that someone's coming for the ball. You have not outrun anyone. Someone is near you because everyone is compacted, and you've got to cover that up. It was a bad decision on Travis to not put both hands on the ball and be willing to accept not getting into the end zone because you understood the football situation that you were in. Somebody was coming for it. And by the way, Javon Holland happens to be one of the better safeties in the AFC. That was a great play that he made. It was
a great play.
But you could have prevented it by understanding someone's coming for me. I can see the end zone. Cover it up. And that's what the coaches are going to be talking about.
And it's
today.
the little things, because that's what's been coming back to bite them, right? It's simple things like that. Yes, I understand you're seeing green grass. You're like, I'm going in for the score. But you have to, like, and it's situational awareness, knowing where you are on the field, all those things, where you are in downs. It's easier said than done, but it has to be hammered into them.
I'll say this for Travis. He did great work last year fixing the, quote, fumbling problem.
From 2022.
I expect, because I think he's a tough kid, I expect him to bounce back from this. I don't expect this to be a trend. Backs fumble. Sometimes they fumble at inopportune times. I don't think any great back has ever gone his career without fumbling. It was a great play. I think this is a one-off because he had it fixed last year and he did a great job fixing it. So sometimes circumstances conspire to really hurt a kid, and I think that's what happened to Travis
And
yesterday.
the defense had a chance to make a play,
Yeah,
right?
that's the thing.
Cisco was out of position against Tyreek Hill. So, it's just, not to put it all on Cisco, but you have a chance. You could have stopped him. And still, with 4:22 left to play, you had the ball first and 10 at your own 30. So the offense had another chance to get it done, and they didn't. Yeah, it was a terrible play. Credit to Travis for standing in the locker room after the game. There are plenty of players that should but don't. And he should, and he did. So credit to him for standing there. And I like that Trevor, which of course Trevor's going to handle this the right way. He didn't put it all on anybody at all. I mean, he said we could have done more. Well, I like that part of it.
The reality very much is there was an inevitable feel after that fumble.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe I'm just a cynical old hack, but that's what you felt like. But the Dolphins were on their own 20. There's no rule that says they have to score in 9 seconds.
No.
Certainly not 9 seconds.
It's preposterous.
We touched on, they did have the ball back several times after that they still had the lead at this point. Kirk's third down drop, there were 2 balls that Kirk probably normally we see him catch, and I don't know if that's just because he missed a little bit of time at the end of the season, if he was hurt and didn't play the back half of last season, if it's just rust or what it was, but those are balls he catches normally.
I will say this in his behalf. On the one that he dropped, couldn't pull in, this one right here, if you go back and look, Trevor throws off of his back foot trying to step and avoid being hit. Watch here. You see, that's not him planting. That's getting rid of the ball a little bit quickly. I'm not sure that's as much a drop as it is the throw was off and he couldn't adjust to it. Remember, what is he, 5'10"?
Yeah, the
5'9",
timing
5'10"?
was a little off
It was
because
off.
of the throw.
The other one was a flat
looked
drop.
like he would probably tell you, because Christian's a stand-up guy, he would probably tell you he probably left his feet a bit early.
Yeah.
But I think he left his feet a bit early because the throw came out quicker than you expect. It was, it would have been a great play. It's the kind of play Christian expects himself to make.
Yep.
The one in the first half to me was
a drop.
Bigger because it was a drop. And, again, you go back to moments and situations. One play can make what is a one play feel like a trend, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So when they have those drops on third down, it keeps you from getting third down, so you feel like, they played awful. Trevor Trader and LePay awful on the Christian Kirk drop. They should have been on the field more and probably gotten points. But it is such a situational league that when you lose one play like that one fumble, it's not like college where your defense is automatically going to get a stop. You're going to get a short field and go score. Missing that situation means everything in this league.
Let's look at the Jags' final drive, that 3-and-out that then led to the field goal, because you're still up at this point. If you can, it's tied at this point, but if you can go get yourself in field goal range, put the pressure back on Miami, but at no point had they gotten anything going to that point, and it was just, like you were saying, John, it felt like inevitable at that point that it was just going to basically be given to Miami, but it was just so frustrating because also I felt like they got away from Tank a little bit. I'd have to look at the specific numbers, but I know when they did go back to Tank, then it was kind of like, and I guess that's what you get with running backs because they're kind of in the zone, then you take them out, you put them back in, they don't have the momentum anymore, but it's just tough to watch.
It's going to be sort of a balance to watch because, look, you don't want to have Travis not involved with the offense. You don't want to have Tank not involved with the offense. Well, guess what? It's basically a one-back offense. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have to play with that a little bit, and then as soon as one play gets blown up, everybody's going to be like, well, they should have been playing the other guy.
Of course.
So it's going to be a little bit of what we're talking about. The offensive line, I thought, blocked really well in the run game, played very well, and if you take the totality of the game, you feel like, hey, this group made some strides. Anton Harrison had a tough game.
Yeah, he did.
But beyond that, I thought a lot of good things. And yet in the NFL, when you give up 2 sacks on the last drive and then can't get it going in the fourth quarter.
That's all anyone's going to remember.
Yeah, guess what they're going to remember? Probably the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Which they should, because that's winning time.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, stay with us here. We're going to do some hot takes when we come back after the break as we look forward to week 2 against the Browns.
I don't think we have a break, do we?
We do have a break.
Oh, I thought we canceled.
Stay in your lane section.
Attention Northeast Florida businesses. The Jaguars and Corporate Traveler are teaming up to bring you the Rising Business Spotlight Program. Get your business in front of 65,000 passionate fans at each Jaguars home game. It's your chance to shine with prime in-stadium exposure, an interactive activation space, and a powerful social media spotlight. Be one of the 6 selected small to medium-sized businesses to be showcased this season. Connect with new audiences like never before. Visit corporatetraveler.us/Jaguars. Don't miss out on this game-changing opportunity with the Jacksonville Jaguars and Corporate Traveler.
The kick is up. It's good!
Score winning sub deals this Jaguar season at Firehouse Subs. Receive 50% off on any sub when the Jaguars kick a field goal of 40 yards or more. It's a bold deal for the bold city. Download the Firehouse Subs app for offer details. Redeemable only at participating Jacksonville and Orlando area restaurants. Only available in the Firehouse Subs app.
Prosser here for Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Football season finally upon us, and with that comes cooler weather. If you've been wanting to upgrade your outdoor living space, you should call the experts at Lifetime Enclosures now. From glass lanais to screened-in enclosures, Lifetime Enclosures and Flooring is the best in the business, so give them a call today. Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Showroom just off Phillips Highway. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
We need to define a great deal in today's new home market because the so-called great deals that you find on every corner just aren't the same as the incredible opportunities you'll find with a new Dreamfinders home. How about 2.99% in year 1 in one of Dreamfinder's 15 communities across North Florida? Now that's a great deal. 2.99% interest rate in year 1 and a beautiful new Dreamfinders home. Visit dfhsalesevent.com for our largest savings of the year on move-in ready homes. That's dfhsalesevent.com.
Listen up. Just like football, timing is everything. Only water your lawn when necessary. And always check the weather before turning on those sprinklers.
Save water, save money, and score big. It's a win-win.
Whether you're on the field or at home, we're all on the same team. Florida's water. It's worth saving. This message brought to you by the St. Johns River Water Management District. Visit sjrwmd.com for more information.
It's game time, Jaguars fans, and Publix knows that football is all about pairings. a high-scoring offense paired with a stingy defense, a rocket-armed QB paired with a dynamic wide receiver. And at Publix, you can pair hot deli chicken tenders with savory dips, delicious sub platters with ice-cold beverages, and you can pair these tailgate essentials with an entire parking lot full of Jaguars fans chanting, Duval! Gear up for your tailgate at Publix, the official supermarket of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jags fans, if you want customized Jaguars furniture for your home, check out zipchair.com to browse all the customizable options. Zipchair is furniture for fans. Part of Jags AM also brought to you by Firehouse Subs as we get ready to bring you our hot takes from Firehouse Subs today. Brian, I know you alluded to yours a little bit earlier, but what's your hot take for us after week one?
Who cares who, right? I mean, play calling was not the issue yesterday. And I get that some people wanted to see more passes, but we just explained that. They were up by 10 points in the third quarter. They wanted to run the ball, shorten the game, and get off the field because their defense was doing a great job. And they wanted to have it rested because they knew it was coming in the fourth quarter. Big passes by the Dolphins on their attempt to come back. So I have no issue with their strategy there. Not a play calling issue. So let's go right to it. 4th down and 1, right, on that all-important series, although it didn't turn out to be that important because they missed the field goal. That's a bread and butter play. If you go back and watch that play last year and the year before, that is a Travis Etienne staple, running over the left tackle. And if Ogba doesn't blow the play up, which he did, man, there is all kinds of room, and they look like heroes there. And they've stopped the bleeding of momentum. And that's why Doug went for it there. But that's it. I'll give you the best one. You go look for a highlight? Go watch the end of the 22 game in Houston, where Travis went for 67 yards for the touchdown that really blew that game wide open. That was the same play. It's not a play calling issue. It's execution. Whoever Ogba was supposed to block didn't. Whoever was supposed to block Ogba didn't do it.
I come back at you with this then. This is the offensive line they wanted. They said they're healthy. Is this the offensive line that's going to be able to execute at this point?
Listen, that's not a play calling issue, then that's a personnel issue.
I'm with you.
And that wasn't my hot take. My hot take was it's an execution issue, not a play calling issue. Look, I was not impressed with the offensive line in the second half yesterday. They didn't run it as well as they did in the first half, and they gave up 2 sacks on that final drive where they were tied. So I'm not going to defend them at all. But there were so many people that called the radio show yesterday who wanted to go right back to it's Press Taylor's fault. You know, they're going for it on 4th down. No. Press Taylor doesn't decide to go for it on 4th down. That's a
Press
Doug.
Taylor doesn't want that.
No. That's a Doug Peterson call. So they look at their call sheet and say, what's our best play? What can we count on? And they can generally count on that bread and butter play from Travis Etienne. Go watch it. It's an off-tackle left run. It's one of their favorites with him. But whoever was supposed to block 91 missed terribly. That is not Press Taylor's fault or Doug Peterson's fault. Whoever called the play's fault, that's an execution fault.
That's always coaching in the NFL.
Except it's a players' league, right?
Right. So I agree. The call was fine. There's a lot of people saying today, well, why does Doug go for it in that situation?
That's a fair question.
Doug's always been that guy, though.
That's what he's going to do. I mean, if you don't want that, then you don't want him because that's who he's going to be. Yep. And he's not changing anytime soon. Mine was, I forget exactly what the take was. Time to be tough.
We'll show you.
Yeah.
Now's the time for
tough. Now's the time for tough. And what I mean by this is this. They went out in the offseason, and every free agent they got was a veteran, savvy guy who'd been there before. Eric Armstead, Darnell Savage.
Both guys made plays.
Well, and I'm not criticizing these guys. But every free agent they got, Gabe Davis, Mitch Morris, was a veteran who had been on playoff teams. Week one, now guess what? You're facing some adversity. That element, meaning let's just figure out a way to go win, get this fixed, get it right, be an NFL tough late fourth quarter team. That's what they need now. It's in the next couple of weeks, we're going to see if that approach worked.
The word that I want to use, and I'm kind of a performance nerd. I kind of like to figure out what it is that makes people achieve, right? I've seen it for 30 years in here. The word's resilience. The Jaguars were not a resilient team in the fourth quarter yesterday. They were not a resilient team at the end of last season. Maybe you put your finger in the dike in the first game and you just kind of slow it. But by the second game, man, you better fix it. You better become a resilient team because bad things happen through the course of a 60-minute game. You're going to need that grit, that resilience, and this team hasn't shown enough of it. Resilience is my word this week.
I'm going to build off John's. I know we talk about it a lot and we make fun of it a lot because every game's a must-win game in the NFL, but it's a must-win game in the home opener on Sunday. Because for me to come out, it's not the loss against Miami. I think that I was 50-50 on that when going into things, but you need to be able to be resilient, as you're saying, and you have to be able to build it from game to game. When you feel a momentum shift in a game, it's hard immediately to make those changes and get back on track. That's something you build up over time and having confidence in yourself. And having this week to set up, get ready to take on a team that also played poorly in week 1, you should have the utmost confidence in the world. In front of your hometown, when you had troubles at home last year, you need to come in and play strong and get a win, turn this around for yourself, because then you're going out on Monday Night Football. That's not an easy matchup. We've talked about the beginning of the season being tough. If you go 0-3, 0-4, like that's not where we need to be at.
I would love to
I'll
disagree
call it a
with you.
must-win.
I would love to channel my inner Ryan Nielsen. When I asked him about opening day after practice on Wednesday last week, he said, Brian, he said, there are 17 of these. This is just one of them. However, having watched the way that they melted after the fumble, and I don't forget, by the way, that Parker Washington fumbled on the kickoff after Tyreek's touchdown, and by the grace of his effort got back there and got it back. So I'm with you. I don't know that this is a resilient team yet and can overcome losing on Sunday and be ready for Monday Night Football.
Yeah, I think you guys have hit on it. Sunday will show a lot about the resilience of this team. And I feel like they have a chance to be pretty good. But good teams in the NFL have to win the kind of games they lost yesterday.
And it's learning that little things matter even when you think they don't matter. Yeah. And I think that's a learned habit. So for me, that's why I'm taking the time from week to week to be like, okay, I understand things happen in the moment. All that went down, big momentum shift. We all felt it. Now you need to regroup. Now you need to be resilient, as you're saying, and not let this get away from you.
Yeah.
All right, let's
I said, I would have loved to have disagreed with you, but I couldn't. It was a very excellent point.
Thank you very much. I love a compliment this early on a Monday. Jaguars fans, on Tuesday, that's tomorrow, September 10th from 5 to 6, you can head over to Publix, located in Neptune Beach. Brian, this is your neck of the woods. Ross Matisic, Cam Little, Asezi Otamelo, Tyler Lacey of the Jacksonville Jaguars going to be making an appearance there as we get ready for that home opener against the Browns. I mentioned that's the Publix located at 630 Atlantic Boulevard in Neptune Beach. Tomorrow from 5 to 6 for a meet and greet with all of those guys at Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. And the home opener is going to be brought to you by Everbank this week. Advantage you. Make the most of your money at everbank.com/Jaguars. Don't want to be entirely woe is me. We're talking about the home opener. The Browns had a pretty rough go in week 1 too. So hopefully all things even, we can figure things out.
Yeah, but they'll be ready and
they will.
They'll be just as desperate as the Jags. So it's a big game for both, and whoever loses is going to be in a big hole.
Well, and listen, Anton Harrison really struggled yesterday, and I would have never said that he was going to because I thought he had a terrific camp when he was healthy. He gets Myles Garrett, the Grim Reaper, right? And when you go back and look, since 2017, he has 88.5 sacks, second only to TJ Watt. But more importantly, he has at least 14 sacks in 3 consecutive seasons. The guy is an absolute beast. Anton is going to have to step it up this week. He's going to have to rebound, be resilient, and find a way to block Myles Garrett.
I bet he does. I think he's too good a player not to.
We've seen him do it last year. I mean, he was thrown right into the fire there against Chris Jones, I think, in week 2. So he's done it. He's gone up against good ones. We know he can do it. So we'll bounce back this week. Hopefully we'll see that. We'll be back with you later in this week as we really dive into that matchup against the Browns. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here on Wednesday.